Well, welcome to our broadcast on this Sunday morning. This is the day which the Lord God has made, and we're going to rejoice and to be glad in it. I'm excited about this Sunday, and I'm going to tell you in a minute why I'm so excited about this Sunday. But I want to first say to all of you all that have really expressed your love and appreciation, you're continuing to pray for me and my family, and we are really appreciative of it. I'm excited, Faith, Hope, and Love Worship Center, for your love and support that you are showing toward us. And we're excited about what the Lord is doing in this season of our lives. But we want to pause for today, because today represents a special day in our lives, especially my life. Because this day represents the day in which my wife, your First Lady, gave her heart to the Lord, September 6th. She used to say this all the time. She used to say, hey, I'm celebrating the whole month of September because my spiritual birthday is September 6th and my natural birthday is September 15th. So today we want to do something special in honor of her, a special tribute on her very behalf. So me and my children are getting ready to do something special. So we want you to sit back and enjoy this moment. But before we do this, I just want to express what a tribute really means. So I'm going to share this with you right quick. A tribute represents an act, statement, or gift that is intended to show gratitude. Listen to these three words: gratitude, respect, and admiration for someone. Gratitude, respect, and admiration for someone. And you know Faith, Hope, and Love, and those that have been watching us by Facebook Live, those that have been in touch with my wife over the years, she deserves this moment. She deserves this tribute that we are setting aside on her very behalf, because we want to show her the gratitude, the respect, and admiration that she deserves. So me and my children have decided that we're going to take this moment as a reflection and to show honor to her and to let her know how much we appreciate her. So we want you to sit back and enjoy this moment with me and my family as we give tribute to my wife and their mother on this special day. Let's go on into this special moment. God bless. How was your day?
It was stressful. It was stressful. Just kind of trying to get myself in a headspace to come here tonight to do this. You know, it was stressful. The last few days have been stressful. I might be yawning throughout this because I haven't rested the best, you know.
Yeah.
Right. These are hard to do.
Well, I woke up early too, though. Maybe it had something to do with this. I don't know, but I was up at 3-something this morning. Ooh. Yeah, and I just took a time to pray. I don't know if it was anticipation toward this day, you know, and realizing what we were doing. But we're here now.
We're here now.
Yeah, we're here. How was your day?
So for me, it started last night, me trying to do the most. I had some errands and things to do around the house, but then it was like, what I'm aware, I wanted to make sure that I looked right on camera, so hopefully I did a good job.
And you really want us to judge that, huh?
He came with that.
He really want us to judge
Exactly.
that.
You know, I tried. And then I cut my hair. That took a little process, took a little time. So I didn't really get a lot of sleep last night. I think just kind of restless with, you know, with everything going on. Some days you may sleep, some days you don't sleep.
Right.
So today I've been kind of drained, but I've been on the go since early this morning. I had a meeting to go to. There's just a lot of things going on today. So I am tired. And then I've had a little anxiety today, just thinking about confronting certain feelings that I may have suppressed momentarily. So this is kind of how my day was.
I understand. Definitely understand. Like I said, I don't know if it was the anticipation of this day, but I was up pretty early, had some errands to take care of, you know, getting back here, getting everything situated. But we here, and I'm excited about having this opportunity to have all of us together.
Yes.
You know, because we really want to give tribute to her.
Yes.
And we know this is how she would want it to be. But she just deserves this moment. You know, even though we realize that, you know, it may take us in places emotionally, but I would rather go to these places in honor of her.
Yeah.
You know. And you know how she was. September is her month.
September is
her
month.
The whole month. And she would make sure. And I'd be like, no. I say, baby, look, you have your spiritual birthday on September 6th, your natural birthday on September 15th. Those are the only 2 days I'm celebrating. I know
she said the whole month.
It wasn't going down like that. You know what I'm saying? So, but we want to take this time because she deserves it.
Right. Yeah. I tell you, and we haven't done this on camera since we did the news interview right after she passed. I know we did a lot. We had a lot with the media right after, but we've been processing together. And I know a lot of us have also been processing out loud and letting people see that this is a very real experience. You know, I think that what people are going to see, even through us having this conversation, is how real it actually is. We were just talking before we started. For us, it still feels like day one. Yeah. And I think that in itself can be overwhelming at times when you feel like you're advancing, and then you realize that no, you know, people can tell you what this journey is going to look like. People can tell you the first year is going to be really difficult, but nobody can prepare you for the magnitude of it. You know, and I think that stopping today to go through this is like so fitting, right? Today is 5 months to the day that she passed away. And so that in itself has its own range of emotions, you know, and I know we all deal with that different. I think I'm the one that's like, the 6th of the month is like, like, I'm just like, like, it is
you remind
you definitely remind us of it.
The 6th of the month does something to me, and my body really recognizes the trauma. It don't matter. It's so weird. Like, I can try not to, you know, think about it, but when it's coming, it's like I naturally go into this this frame of mind, you know, and it's overwhelming. And I'll get to that in a minute. So we'll come back to that. But I want to start by, you know, taking us to a positive place, which is, you know, September 6th representing her spiritual birthday. I know we've said that a few times, but I want to unpack that for people today, because I think in the legacy of who Mama was, in the legacy of what you all built together, that really was the framework that, and the foundation that caused everything to go and grow. You know, now y'all have a story, and I know you're telling people y'all dated, you know, before you came into Christ. And Mama was already a prophetess, because she told you.
No, you don't need to go there. You don't need to go there.
You told her.
No, you don't need to.
What she said, she let her friends know she was going to marry you.
Yes, she did.
And you said she'll be the last woman I married.
Really,
and she said, and what did she say? And that's what I mean. And she meant that thing. You all got married. But I want you to unpack a bit that story of winning her to Christ, because, you know, that's the beginning of the celebration of today. As we kind of reclaim this moment a bit, it's a celebration of today, but it's the foundation by which everything really grew in you all's lives. So can you talk about that for a little bit?
Wow. Well, let me back up a little bit before I get to that point. Of course, you brought it out. We dated off and on, you know, before we surrender our lives to Jesus Christ. But we actually started dating in high school. But if I go back to when I first saw her,
come on,
when I first saw her, we were both at a party, and I was a ninth grader at the time. of course, middle school was from 7th to 9th grade. So, of course, everybody being invited to the same party. So I walked in and I looked and I was like, wow, who is this? So
caught your attention, huh?
yeah. I never approached her because, I mean, she was with someone, you know, and at the time I was dating someone, but I did pay attention to her.
Okay.
And, you know, but of course we went on, you know, years went by, and then we both end up in high school together. And this is why we really believe that we were meant to be together, because your mother stayed on the other side of town. It's no way possible she was supposed to end up at the same middle school and high school that I was at.
Wow.
You know, and then her mother was a teacher, and you would think that she would go to school with her mother, but she ended up going to the school where her grandmother taught.
Wow.
And that was the school that I was at.
Wow.
Which caused her to transition to high school. But when we got in high school, of course, when she ended up there, she was a 10th grader, I was a 12th grader. And at the time, we had a classroom right by each other. Now, you know, I was in a relationship at the time, so yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. I'm not gonna start calling names and all that. But I was in a relationship. But of course, we had to cross each other, you know. And at that time I'd kind of just gotten my own little world, you know, doing my own little thing. But she was paying attention. So she started looking at me then.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. She started looking at me. So I had a friend of mine, we were real close and we were tight. He was in the same class with her. And she started saying things to him to relay to me. So I was like, oh, okay. You know, so, but I was playing it off. I really was playing it off.
It made you feel good, though, kind of puffed out.
Yeah, but I was playing it off. I was playing it off. I was like,
cool.
nah, you know. So I was playing it off, but she kept sending little hints and little hints. So her best friend, Reggie Lynn, one day called me, and your mother had went out of town on vacation for the summer, and Reggie Lynn ended up calling and start saying things about how she felt, and when she get back, you know, she wanted to talk to me, and da-da-da-da. So that's how we started. That's how we started, you know. And we dated off and on, you know, off and on. And I have to admit, I was the problem.
Okay. All right. Okay. Confession. I think that's the first time we got that confession.
I was the problem. Okay. I really was. When I wasn't saved, I was the problem.
Okay.
And
We're just gonna leave it at that.
yeah, I ain't going deep into that. Not today. But I was the problem. And of course, I went off to college, and I was in college for a year and a half. I came home for the holiday, took the post office test. And then of course, I passed the test. My dad, by him working in the post office previously, he was letting me know, you're gonna be hired. You can be out of college. I said, no, I'm going back, Dad. I'm going back. But they called me right before we were going back. And I went to the interview, got hired. So now I have all the money I want, 19 years old, and do what I want to do. But the Lord knew better. He knew better. Like, no, I'm snatching him right now. So I was working at the post office only 6 months before I got saved.
Wow.
And I was so on fire for the Lord and excited about my newfound relationship. But then I also felt bad about, you know, previous situations and how I've handled people in the past. You know, when you repented, you just repented. You ready to apologize to the world.
Make it all right.
Yeah. And so me and her had a mutual friend. And I went by the house, talked to this mutual friend, was sharing Christ with her, testifying about my newfound faith. And I told her, when I see Robbin, I'm a witness to her. I just felt that I needed to reach out to her to accept Jesus Christ. Now, you all know how bold your mother is.
Super.
Yeah,
The boldest.
So, of course, they laughed and joked, she said, over the phone. I found this out later. And but we were at a funeral together. And at that funeral, I walked out. You know, you view the body, you walk on outside. She walked out before me, and she was with her dad. So she waited, like, witness to me.
She said it. She said she was
like,
bold.
witness
You
to
go
me.
do what you say you gonna do.
He said he gonna witness to me. I'm gonna be available. So I walked outside afterwards and saw her. And so when I walked up, she called my name out, and she asked me how I was doing. I told her I was living my life for the Lord. And but she said at that moment, she looked in my eyes and saw, okay, this is not the one I used to date. This is somebody different. And I told her, I said, if you want to know more about it, give me a call. Now, you know the story. She told you all she didn't have the intent. She just, that was her inline to talk back with me. But we sat up and talked till about 3 or 4 in the morning. I was just sharing with her about how I surrendered, being apologetic. And of course, she was hearing the realness in my voice and how I was expressing myself to her. She wanted what I had. So I invited her to church, took her to church, and in a week's time, she had surrendered to the Lord. Yeah, and it was on September 6th.
September 6th.
Yeah. Right.
And everything
took off
from there.
Right.
I mean, every part of purpose.
Well, after that, it's ironic how it went down. I was at another church, and she called someone that was a friend of her dad, the wife, and she knew about her faith in Christ, and so she came and picked her up, brought her to church. But she ended up, I'm telling you how we knew God was ordering our steps. She ended up at the same church my sister was at.
Wow.
That's where she accepted Christ and then joined that church.
Wow.
You understand?
Yeah.
And so eventually I end up there and joining the church. And of course we knew each other. And at that time I was just excited to serve the Lord. We still wasn't, connecting in terms of relationship. But, they had others, wanted to talk to her, and stuff like that. She didn't want them.
She didn't want them. She had an eye on one person.
Yeah, one time she was mad. I brought her to church, and the person came to the car. But I at that time, I was trying to stay clear.
You was on fire for God.
I really was. But eventually, it came together, and we realized that we were meant to be together. And that started our journey. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of beautiful years. And, man, Mama was an incredible woman. I know that so many people have gotten a glimpse of her. Right. Through us, people who haven't met her. I mean, those who met her already know this. So this is not news to them. But to those who never met her, they've gotten a glimpse. Because there are people who are attached to our story. A lot of people who are watching now who are attached to our story just by how it's been rolling out. I wish that everybody would have had a chance to encounter her. I want to transition us a bit, as we kind of just lean into what we've been navigating. It is September 6th, and we're 5 months in. A lot of times it feels like it just happened yesterday. Right. And I want to help people from a very real place to figure out what it can look like to move forward. And I want us to start by talking about, our own journeys that we've been navigating. I'm going to start with you. I know right as we just unpacked this, you got 38 years of being married. You knew her longer than that. You lived every part. Like, you all had a very rare relationship. Like, most married couples do not spend the amount of time that you all spend together. Y'all literally did 95% of every day together, right? So, like, not just like every day, 95% of your day. It might be more than that. So you have had an extreme adjustment in your life. And I know that you've done some posts on social media,
Right.
which let people know what you're going through. I don't know if they know to the magnitude it really is hard for you. We all talk. This is the most crushed we've seen you.
Yeah.
To be
Yeah.
honest, we've never
Yeah.
in all of our years we've never seen some of the things that we've seen, and it's understandable. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think any of us have ever been where we are.
Right.
But can you unpack for people what you've been navigating through, where you are right now?
Well, I still have unreal moments. It's a whole new world for me. I have no way to escape at all. Outside of sports, we did everything together. I mean, we went to work together. We had our outreach ministries into the schools. We did that together. And that's something
I know. You're like, what's going on over there?
Okay.
That's a love.
Yeah, but we did everything together, and people, even those that would call me, pastor friends, family, they said that we really operated in what it meant to be one flesh. When you saw one, you saw the other, and it wasn't a forced thing. We literally enjoyed doing everything together. So one of my posts, I said that I have to get used to a new norm, and I'm not used to it. Yeah, this is, you talking about 38 years, so I am not used to it right now. When I posted that, I'm trying to get used to it, but I'm not. So I have moments. It can hit me when I get to the church, when I get to the office, because she went to her office, I went to my office, but then we were gonna eat lunch together. Then we were gonna have a meeting together after that to talk about the various things that we were planning. So then I had to deal with that. Even sons and children, even getting up, just going out the house. If I was going to just go to the to get my car service, well, I'll be trying to sneak out the house, and then call myself sneaking out, and then I can't get down the road good.
Ring.
Yeah. I said, I tried to sneak out. Will you stay asleep? And so we talked all throughout the day. Went out to dinner. It was 3 things your mother loved to do. She loved to shop. She loved to eat out and loved to travel. And we did all 3. We literally hung out together. We had our marriage ministry. We wrote a book on marriage. So I have no way to escape at all. Zero. Like one of my members called me today, and he said, Bishop, he said, have you ever thought about just getting away a couple of weeks? He said, I'll take care of it for you. I said, you're the 3rd or 4th person that mentioned that to me. Because they know I have no means of escaping. Yeah. I can walk up in the Baton Rouge church, look up. I mean, we did all this together. Walk in St. Francis, we did all this together.
And her presence is everywhere. Her imprint is everywhere.
Yeah, and then I walk in the house, and to be honest with you, I have to actually have the television on in any dead space throughout the day. So
just to keep your mind.
Just to keep my mind. I mean, that's how I go to sleep. That's literally how I go to sleep. So
can you speak to the freshness of the pain? Because I think that's one of the hardest things to convey, is that we are 5 months in, but it still hurts in an excruciating way.
It does. It's still emptiness on the inside that I'm navigating through. And I'm honest and transparent with my church congregation. I share with them what you're witnessing Bishop getting up doing week to week is the Lord strengthening me to do it. But other than that, I can't imagine, and I told someone this, I can't even imagine trying to walk through something like this without the Lord in my life. I don't see how people can do it. So if I wake up in the middle of the night, I think that's part of the problem that I have with going back to sleep, because that's the first thing come to my mind, my wife.
She not laying there.
Yeah, I haven't moved anything. I don't think I will move anything out of this house or out of her office until next year. I told Rachel, when I told you that just the day before yesterday, I can't move nothing. I can't move nothing out of the house right now. I can't move nothing out of her office. I can't move. Because I'm going to give you a situation. I don't know, you might know better. You might be able to speak to, I don't know how many weeks we were in, but when we were shopping, we were buying stuff for the pandemic when they were getting ready to totally quarantine us. And of course, your mother was making sure, her and Rachel, that even though we had things that we will all eat together, but everybody had their own list, what we call stash, your own little stash, you know. And your mother was big on raw vegetables, you know, and so she had her stuff stacked in there, but she never got a chance to
You didn't have it.
Yeah, she never got a chance. And so when me and Rachel tried to, you know, because it'd been in there for a while, we tried to go throw it out, and we both looked at each other and just broke down. So what society have, I guess, compartmentalized grief to the degree like, okay, you go through the funeral,
Yeah.
you may have a few weeks after, and now it's time to go on with life. It doesn't happen that way.
It doesn't happen like that.
Grieving is a journey process. And that's why I say, Lord, just take me and use me to minister to others about this journey. And especially unexpected.
Yeah.
So that's literally what I called it, the unexpected journey. Because I had no idea I would be here.
The sneak attack.
At this time. It literally unexpected journey. So, you know, I'm not where I need to be right now, but God continues to strengthen me. But, you know, I know it's a process. So when I have those moments, I let it out. Sometimes it'll come out in tears. Sometimes it'll come out in a holler. I just say, anything. I'm being real. I just say anything, yo, and I'm through with it at that moment.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a journey. And I know, talking to all of you all, you know, I share with folks. They ask how you doing. I say, well, I had a better week this past week, but the week before then, none of us had a good week. None of us had a good week. And I let them know. And that's why I post, you know, thanking people for continuing to pray for me and my children. Yeah.
I want to turn it to my siblings a little bit to talk about your journeys as well. We all navigating this, and we've all never been here before. I say this a lot. It's like I don't ever want to minimize other people's grief and pain, but one of the things you learn when you get to grief at this level is that there are levels to it. You know, we've seen grief in different stages. I thought, man, I remember, you know, losing grandparents, you know, being shattered. Nothing could compare to this. I mean, it's not even close. Like the magnitude has been so severe. So talk about, you know, how you all have been journeying in your process. I don't know who want to kick it off.
Doesn't matter.
I'll start. I mean, just starting from the beginning of everything, you know, we're a family of faith, a family of prayer. I mean, ever since we were kids, we were taught to have a relationship with God. So we know how to go to God individually. We also know how to go to God collectively. and we know the word. So, when all of this was going on, we were standing firm in prayer. We were standing firm in faith. And when the outcome was different than what we expected, the initial reaction for me was shock. Like, I'm stunned. Like, and not really wanting to accept. So the next thing I'm like, okay, well, all right, maybe God want to give us a Lazarus miracle. Maybe this is the time, and I'm like, if there was ever a time that I had faith to raise someone from the dead,
It was gonna have to be
this was the
then.
time. So it's like now, and this was all of us. It was like now we're locked into prayer. We believe in God that He's gonna raise Mama up, and so the initial part of grief didn't start right after she passed because we were still locked in faith. We were like, oh, it can't be like this. And so as, a couple of weeks began to go by, then it was like, okay, looks like I'm going to have to accept this. And so now it's like I'm stunned. Now I was still stunned and shocked, and I think I still am. And so it was like, usually I'm able to suppress my emotions. I try to just kind of keep even if I'm grieving or if I'm having my own personal moment, I'm like, okay, I can do that in my own personal time without people seeing what's going on. But this thing would just hit you. Like, it was so many different triggers throughout a day, it could hit you at any time.
Yeah.
And when it hit you, it's like you couldn't control how you responded.
Right.
And so I had to have a talk with my kids, and I'm like, look, I just had to be real. I say, sometimes you're going to see Dad cry, but I said, I realize I have to confront these emotions. I'm going to have to let them out, or it might lead to something that's not good.
Right.
For me, it's not good for our family. So that the first thing was just trying to accept it, and then after that, it was still trying to work through the shock, and then deal with all the different everyday triggers for me.
Yeah.
Well, with me, basically, I remember feeling in that moment, I didn't know grief until this. We've lost people, but the pain and the feeling that you have with this is just does not compare. And as we say that we're trying to navigate, I really have no clue how to navigate.
Yeah.
I really don't. And when you have someone like Mama, what she was to me, normally going through something like this, she would be my point of contact. She would be that person that I would be talking to, and she would be helping me get through it. So, and am I the first person to cry?
No, Daddy cried.
I didn't get the award, okay. But
That's real.
when female emotions are different from male emotions, and so we know you all are emotional too, but it's the way as a female being able to relate to her, it's hard to not have that anymore.
Yeah.
And so of course I love you all, but having that where it's like you feel like you're
A
the
daughter with no
only
mama.
one. Like that bond that we had, the bond that we had, a lot of mothers and daughters would even come to us and say how, like, to try to figure out how could they have that connection and that bond. And that's just what we were. We were best friends. We were that. Like, that was my best friend. And so she wasn't just my mom, but it's losing a mom and a best friend at the same time. So even what I feel still may not be what somebody else may feel, because Just like, y'all, she was consumed in my life. The only escape I had was when I would go to work. Yeah. Which now I try to go to work to get that escape. But we had the relationship that she wanted from the beginning. Amen. And so to ask how I'm navigating, I'm not. Y'all know in our text messages what I say. Y'all ask how everybody do it. Everybody have like a long sentence, and what I say, not good. Not good. And yeah. And
you
so,
start randomly sending stuff in the text. Well, me and you both. Me and you both.
Don't put me.
Wait, Rachel, have you waking up to a bunch of pictures?
Well, no, I had to get up straight about that. Yeah.
Stop with the pictures because y'all
I had
told
to
me to
get,
stop.
I said,
I
oh.
ain't done it in a while.
I ain't done it in a while. It's been a while. Yeah. But no, you the one go home.
Don't do me. Don't do me.
I just say not good.
I'm going to get to him. I'm going to get to him.
But
I have something
that's
I
my
wanna
emotions.
address.
Even when people ask me, normally you're used to, especially when you are in ministry, you're used to people ask you how you're doing. Oh, I'm good.
Blessed and highly favored.
These days,
a hot mess.
Not good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I'm comfortable with being honest with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes I'm wondering, I'm like, y'all probably rather not be around me right now because I can't be the normal Rachel.
Right.
The joking, there are moments that I can be that, but I can't be that right now. And I don't know when.
Yeah.
I don't really know when.
Yeah.
I guess for me navigating it, this was the first thing in my life that is truly just like broken me. Mm-hmm. Like I was literally and still broken. Mm-hmm. I would say for myself, it's one of the moments that, I started to question, like, am I weak? Like, started to question my strength. Because, as a man, especially as an African-American man, you feel like you got to be strong. You should be able to withstand anything and everything. And in this situation, like, I just feel like I haven't been that. Like, it's been extremely difficult to walk through. Like y'all have talked about kind of the range of emotions that you experience. I've said that it's kind of like a consistent inconsistency. Mm-hmm. Like it's literally you're always inconsistent. Mm-hmm. It's literally the ebb and flow, the wave pattern. Yeah. And so some moments you feel that you're doing a little bit better, not that you're ever doing good. Mm-hmm. And then some moments you're crushed, and literally that can happen within the span of 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. Wow. I find myself at times I can be at work and, I'm dialed in and I have to deliver this. And then out of nowhere, just emotions rush and I literally can't do anything the rest of the day. Mm-hmm. And that's where I found myself consistently. It's just feeling a true void. Like there's literally a void there that cannot be filled by anyone. Mm-hmm. We've done the best that we can as a group, as a family, as a unit, to be there for each other, to lean up on each other. But still at the end of the day, none of us can be mama. Yeah. None of us can be who she was to us. And that's one thing that I struggle with as well, is even as I was just saying was like, thinking of past tense, right? Like referring to mama in past tense, right? It's something that honestly, like I have not settled with, to this point. So, like you said, I mean, you just find yourself kind of literally just in the dumps. Like you literally feel that, like I literally losing mama, I lost all motivation. Lost all motivation. And we've always been a family that pushes forward, resilient, strong, motivated, driven to push forward in purpose and all of that. And literally losing mama, I was like, I have no desire to do anything. Like just being honest, like no desire to do anything. Like so literally, God, you can take it. I literally was to the point, God, you can take me. I mean, honestly, like and I know that, and don't get me wrong, not to that point of being suicidal or anything like that, but literally,
no, you touching on a real topic right now.
Yeah, it was to the point that it's just like I have no desire to be here anymore. And literally, God, you could take me at any point.
My life.
Yeah, I think that was a big revelation when we all got there. Like You woke up to a string of text.
Yeah.
One morning,
I
about
did.
200 and something.
And
well,
I
we always
started praying.
all was sharing that we all agreed that we didn't want to be here no more.
It almost made me feel like when they said there's a number you can't number. Like I was like, I've never seen that many texts.
200 and stuff.
Yeah.
But he started it. I think you started
Yeah,
all of it.
but everybody chimed in. That's the reality. It was like, but share yours. I mean, because I want to get to something, but talk about your navigation.
I know it's been a crushing blow.
This. Right.
It's been a crushing blow. I spent so much of my life with my mom being my best friend, like so much of my life, and like I always say, like everybody, when we talk right after she passed, everybody was like, I can't do this no more, I can't do this. And I was like, well, I wouldn't be doing nothing that I love because me and her love so many of the same things. But it's been crushing to me. I've never felt so brutally broken. If I'm honest, and I always keep it real with people, even as a pastor, I lost my desire to pray for a while. Because when you pray the way we prayed, like I was sharing, that I don't know if people realize, like we showed up to the hospital every day for about 8 days. So I think we went the first 3 days praying at our home. For about 8 of the days, we went to the hospital to pray.
Right.
That last day, first of all, the night before, we prayed through the night.
Yeah.
And I think what really got me was about 5 o'clock that morning, I told y'all, I'm like, when the Lord gave me that song, Victorious, and I ran across it, I had a vision of the next day, but I felt like I wasn't in faith. And I feel weak talking about it right now. It's probably because I'm trying to manage my emotion. But when we went to the hospital that Monday and we prayed, we worshiped, like we were radical, to get home and within an hour.
Yeah.
I will never forget that moment.
Yeah.
I will never forget that moment of getting that call. Yeah. When you said, y'all, we got to pray. Because they just called and said, Mama gone. Yeah. And I remember Christian was out back. And I walked, I said, I need you right now. And she came in. And I said, they say, Mama gone. And I hit the floor. Like, I had no strength to stand. Yeah. And I think that's been the hard part of this journey is because a lot of days I don't feel like I have the strength to stand.
Right.
And that's been difficult for me to navigate that as somebody who has been a rock, who, like, I feel much of my life, and you know this, since I was a little boy, I had to lead. So I've been leading a long time. You trusted me in ministry young. I was a teenager leading people, leading adults. And so I think getting to this place of like, I feel like I'm losing it some days. Yeah. I truly feel I had days that I was Googling, am I losing my mind? Like, and I think for me, I was sharing this last night with some individuals. A lot of it for me, I have to sit in loneliness, and that's even more difficult for me.
Right.
It's not how I process.
Yeah.
So when I am in loneliness, my thoughts get really super dark.
Yeah.
Really dark.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying, like I'm on this journey right now, self-discovery, self-awareness. Y'all know I'm like in this tension point of like, I want to live now. I want to prepare my legacy. I do have moments of resetting and having to find a new motivation to live.
Right.
I just was having that this week.
Yeah.
I entered into this week. I feel like, oh, I thought I was coming into this week good. And as soon as Monday afternoon came.
Yeah. And, and that's the thing about it, with what we're dealing with. You don't know when it's going to hit. You don't know. You cannot predict a day. You cannot predict a moment. You can't predict it at all. And it's good that we decided to park.
Yes.
And give tribute to her.
Yes.
On September 6th.
September 6th.
Sunday. Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
The day she got saved.
Yes.
And the first tribute moment we could really have is on a Sunday.
On a Sunday.
September 6th. I want to ask each one of my children, because your mother was a special woman. You know, she used to always talk about you uniquely made. Yeah, and there'll be another.
Never be another.
Never will be another. So she was a special woman in so many ways, and we're trying to take this moment to give her the respect, and show forth our gratitude,
Yes.
and the admiration that she deserves. And so I can get into a lot of things about what made my wife so special. But I want to take this moment and allow my children to describe in their own words certain things that just made your mother so special. You know, the special woman she was. So I'm going to start here with the oldest.
I'm trying to
And
work
then,
my
or should I go to the second oldest right now? But I'm gonna go to the oldest, and then I want you. I'm gonna go from the oldest to the youngest.
Yeah.
So yeah, what made your mother so special? Like,
I think to me, what made her so special is the ability to be direct, to be blunt, but also be nurturing.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, that's what she was for me.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
she always challenged me to grow.
right,
And whether it was just, just through having direct conversation about certain things, whether it's because she had a prophetic dream or a prophetic vision, but she was always in tune with God as it concerned all of us, and she didn't care how tough the conversation had to be. She was gonna have it.
right.
And so she could be sharp, and then she can love on you. She can hug you.
Wow.
She can nurture you.
That's
So
awesome.
to me, that's to
awesome.
me, because sometimes you have people that they're gonna be
balance.
one or the other.
But she had that.
one or the other.
Yeah, and what you're describing is that she had that balance.
She did.
That was necessary, because you can't have one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. What? Yeah.
First of all, let me say I'm doing pretty good in comparison to what y'all thought. All right.
When he said his legs were weak.
They were weak.
So
They
that
were
means
weak.
normally
The
the
tears were in
floor-
my tears were in my
Let me
legs.
stop.
Yeah, but yeah. Describe
man.
what made her so special.
For me, it's several things. You know, I believe a lot of the composition of who I am is I have a lot of mama's DNA in me. So it was her creativity and innovation. Like my mom, to the day she left this earth, was a progressive thinker. She was never without progressive thoughts, you know? And so when I think about, I'm like that. Matter of fact, we were talking recently, and she was having to work on something, and she was used to calling mama. I was like, you realize, like, you could call me to do the same, because me and mama, we would have that exchange. Mama would love that. We could do that rapid fire ideas. So her progressive and innovative thought processes, you know, secondary, and I got three things. Secondary for me is I believe so much of my ministry mantle and DNA was cultivated through her. So, you know, a lot of my ministry has been in prophetic and deliverance. And mama trained me in deliverance. Like, she really trained me. I was inquisitive about deliverance young. I saw 2 books up there that I got at home now. I told my church about it. Strong Man's his name, What's His Game? And I read part 1 and 2 because when I told her I wanted to, you know, operate in deliverance, she was like, read these books, you know. And then, you know, after I read them, she would have me by her doing deliverance until she just, at one point, she was like, you got it, like, go. So she cultivated a lot of my ministry DNA and personality. And I think the final thing is she shored up and solidified my self-esteem. You know, a lot of people, because of how they see me today, they would not realize that the little boy in me struggled severely. with self-esteem issues. You know, in early elementary years, I struggled massively. I remember to this day, you know, writing this story, drawing this picture of myself, and I drew it with these really big lips, you know, and it was like I had this very negative self-image. And she asked me why I did that, and I told her because I don't like my lips. And she joked with me. She was like, well, that's what I like about your dad. And she was, and so she was saying to me, like, I want you to love how you were created.
Right.
And she really started a process of building my self-esteem. And so the bold Ronaldo everyone knows, she really helped to cultivate that. So that's
good.
what I love about my mama.
Good. That's good. What made her so special?
Well, one of the things is that she was a unifier. And I think when the news did a special, they may have said it on there. But she always brought people together.
Amen.
You know, no matter what area it was, whether it was her family, whether it was, I remember even her end up doing what she called Kingdom Women United. And that was First Ladies, bringing First Ladies together. And so she always did that, you know, being in the church, you know, bringing all the women together, all the children together. It's like she always connected people that may have normally connected.
Right.
You know, and so it's crazy because you sit back now and it's like you're looking around because, you know, she is what unified. You know, even I know of some of these first ladies that are out there, you know, they know, okay, I got connected with this first lady because of First Lady Robbin Hardy, you know, because of the conferences that she would do, you know, so she has such this gift in her to pull people in and you know, he said cultivate, you know, certain gifts, but even captivate.
Yeah.
But captivate, you know, the beauty that she had.
Yes.
You know, the Bible speaks of, you know, the Bible doesn't say pretty and ugly, like, you know, the natural, the human side. But what it does speak about those that were fairer to look upon. And she was fairer. She was in that category.
Come on.
So one of the first things that drew you in with her was her beauty.
She's beautiful.
It was like before you could even see anything else, you looked at her beauty. And then after that, you realized that the beauty that radiated on the outside was on the inside also. And so part of that was the passion. That's another thing that was special. She was such a passionate woman.
Yes.
No matter what it is, she was passionate about it.
Yes.
Marriage,
Amen.
family,
Amen.
teenage girls,
Amen.
you know, people becoming their full, you know, self, you know, reaching your full, whatever it is, 100%, you know, causing that dream to come to pass. She just had great passion in her.
That's good. That's good.
And I'll stop.
It's like after the last one, you always get left with the scraps. I'm like, okay, yeah, that was good.
It's so many things that made
okay,
your
that was a good one.
mother special.
Okay, that was good. What he was saying, I was probably going to say something.
He did well considering, you know, because, you know, we never know, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
I'm
still
not on
have
the
room.
floor.
Right.
What made your mother so special?
I think to kind of tag onto that passion part is really to talk about her compassion. As a woman, she was very compassionate. She would always she would take those moments, even with her grandchildren. She would take those moments with the grandchildren to see what's going on, to see how they're being impacted. Because a lot of times we realize children are going through a lot of things in school these days. They're dealing with a lot of pressures. She would sit down with them and truly search out and see, are you being bullied? What's going on? Getting into their world. She truly cared about people. I think of her compassion just completely, like, you know, of course, it's something that's near and dear to us, you know, what ended up taking her out. But, you know, before that, Mama, she was praying for people before any of us were really, it was really on our radars.
Yeah, she was.
As we were seeing, as we were seeing things pop up in China, as we were seeing things pop up in Italy, like she was praying. She would go into an intercession. We all know how Mama Anna see. She was a fiery intercessor. I mean, she would wake us up.
You were going to hear her.
Yes, on those Saturday mornings where you're really trying to sleep in, you're trying to get your rest, and then all of a sudden that travail comes over her, and there's nothing you can do about it. Everybody is up at that point. And so she was very compassionate. She was an intercessor. And she was one that, as y'all have already mentioned, she truly sought to build people. She really wanted people to really tap into their full potential of who they were, who they could be, and also to chase their dreams and to, not put a limit on anything. Anytime that I talked to Mama, there was never a moment where I felt that a dream that I had or a goal that I had was too big.
Yeah.
Right.
She always, anything that you said, she believed in it.
Yeah.
And she would help you to find a way for that to happen. If you said you were going to be a millionaire, a billionaire, or whatever, she was going to be
journey with you.
right there on that journey with you. And so there's just so many things about her that just makes her special.
Yeah.
And even when y'all were talking about the creativity part, one thing that I thought of too, even with that, Mama had an acronym for everything. Like, Mama, you could come up with any word or anything, and she was going to come up with an acronym.
She still had some that she had never released.
Yes.
Acronym for everything.
Right. And we all know that she was a special woman, uniquely made, and I could say a whole lot. I know for time's sake we really don't have enough time for me to describe everything about how special.
Edition.
But one of the things that just stood out about her was her ability, and you will hear this a lot. Your mother could she touched everybody, from the elderly all the way down to the smallest child. And every one of them, she had the ability to have a personal relationship with them. Like, she touched them from the elderly all the way down to the youngest little child. And she could relate to all of them. And, even though she was the First Lady of Faith, Hope, and Love, she didn't have to carry herself down. She would come out of that pulpit and she would touch everybody. And everybody, when we was doing this special tribute about her, right after it happened, people literally could describe their own individual moment with her. And you all noticed it from social media. I mean, they started blowing up social media, and they started blowing it up with their own personal moment with her. She related to everybody. And so she just was a special woman. I believe that's the challenging part with us right now, because that's somebody that's not replaceable.
Yes.
And it's quite a situation to deal with. And that's why I'm excited that we're taking this moment today on her spiritual birthday. And her natural birthday is September 15th.
Yeah, it's coming up.
And so we realized that we had to stop and give her express our gratitude toward her, on behalf of her, and show the due respect and the admiration for just having her in our life, for the moments and the years that we did have her. And I think that's the part that's challenging to all of us now, is we have to now go on with life without this special individual. And I know Faith, Hope, and Love is challenged with that.
Yes.
I was talking to someone just recently, and they was expressing they still challenged with it. People are still challenged with it, but we get it. We get it. I mean, when you have to go on with your life without that special individual,
it's hard to do.
It's hard to do. It's quite challenging. So I'm glad that we took this moment to park, and to really give her the tribute that's due her.
Yes.
Give her the honor.
Celebrate.
Yeah, well, you know, yeah, and her favorite color was red. So,
yes.
you know, we already talking about
Tribute.
some things. Yeah, we already talking
Second
about some
favorite was
things
pink,
that-
so you know.
Yeah, well, you
I
have,
had to do the red lipstick since I hadn't been able to wear lipstick.
Yes.
Yeah.
But what I want us to do is take a moment, you know, and you know, have some final words, each one of us, individually, you know, as a tribute to your mom.
We're gonna go youngest to oldest as we wrap up.
So just final words as kind of what we would want to share to her, or just
Whatever way you want to put it, as a tribute to your mom.
one thing that I would definitely say, and you were kind of mentioning about the time that we had with her. Although, you know, I think about it and I feel that the 27 years that I had with her, like that was too short of a time frame. I still look at every single day of that, every single minute of that as a blessing. Amen. You know, she was the perfect mom for me. She was the perfect mom for me. She was exactly who I needed to be my mother, to invest in me, to become the man that I am today.
Amen.
And I think that that's one thing that I will always hold on to. That's one thing that I will look to carry to go forward as I continue to try to hold on to her legacy, but also look to build a legacy of my own. I will hold on to that. Although it seemed like it was such a short amount of time, although I would have wanted 27 more and 27 after that, I still will cherish every single minute that I had with her.
Amen.
Recently, you had me write down some things that I felt she would say to me
Yes.
at this time. And I began to write some of the things that I felt she would say. And I know one thing she would let me know is that it's okay to cry.
Amen.
Because we know that what that stood for her, one of her acronyms, you know, carefully releasing yourself. And she would always say that you have to have that release at times. And a lot of times when you let that out, then you'll have that surge of strength afterwards. And so I know she would tell me that. She would let me know that I want you to continue my legacy. You know, I've put everything in you. I want you to continue to be the woman that God made and created you to be. But then one of the last things I know that she would tell me is that you can live, laugh, and love again. And we know anybody that really knew her knew that that became her motto. That is what she began to stand on because in one of the lowest moments of her life, God directly spoke to her when she was on the floor crying, and God said, you can live, laugh, and love again. And from that moment, what she said is the key word was can. So what he was letting her know is that, you know, it's like it's your choice. It's a choice to get up and live and laugh and love again. And so I know that as she would be telling me that I one day that I will be able to speak the same thing. That, hey, God made me to be able to live, laugh, and love again.
I'll say this, and there's so much I can say, but I know brevity is our friend now since we've gone for a while. And so what I will say is that I will always love, honor, and cherish Ama. I wish that I had the chance to at least say goodbye to her. And that's something to wrestle with. But Bama, I love you. Thank you. That's it.
My tribute to her would be to be compassionate in these moments, as she would be. She would always be concerned about someone else's pain, and so what I would do right now is to help someone else that may be dealing with, because this is a tough year for a lot of people, and so this is basically how I've been navigating. I mean, dealing with this, dealing with losing my child, my baby. For those that know, and some other challenges. This is how I've been able to cope. These three words: the promises, perspective, and people. So I'll say it like this: you're only as strong as the foundation that you're standing on. So number one, I'm standing on the promises of God, right? I have to trust what God's word says. When it comes to people, I feel like you have to have the right people in your life. So we have our family here, right? For me, it's been friends. It's been our church family. They have been, when I tell you, there have been many times I've been on the phone with Ronaldo, been on the phone with you guys. I've been talking to my wife, just crying over just how the church family has stepped up.
They have stepped up.
And so I think it's important to have the right people in your life to help you through these moments. And then perspective. And what I mean by perspective, it's faith is your ability to see beyond what's in front of you, right? So just having the perspective in the sense of, I understand that Ecclesiastes, the 3rd chapter, says that to everything there is a season. My perspective is this is just a season. He said everything. That's all things. And so it tells you we're going to have a time of mourning, but it also tells you it'll be a time of laughter. So, just as I don't care for winter because it's too cold for me and I'm waiting on fall to come, I don't care for summer because it's too hot and I'm waiting on spring. I don't have an allergy problem, so I can deal with spring. I know that these seasons are going to continue. They're going to continue to change. And so I believe that this is just a season and it'll pass.
What me and my wife had, I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world. I used to joke with her, and it really wasn't joking, because I literally told her this in a serious moment, but they have heard me say it in the church, that if I had to search all over again, I would choose her again. I would do it all over again. I would do it all over again. I thank the Lord for blessing me with such a special woman that was my wife, my best friend, my lover, my partner, my confidant. I mean, I can go on and on. And I'm so glad that I have this moment to give a special tribute on behalf of her. What we had was special, unique, and so many people knew it and still talk about it. So I wanted to take this moment to thank her for being all of these things to me, willingly, throughout all our 38 years. Even these challenging moments, the commitment we had to each other is just unmatched. And that's why this process is so hard. And so I just had to stop and just give out this special tribute to her, because there's none like her. There'll never be none like her. And I'm so glad that we crossed each other's path at a young age and was able to take this journey for 38 years, happily married. And so I just want to send out that special tribute on behalf of my wife. And of course, we'd like to thank all of you that have tuned in today to watch this moment of giving a special tribute to my wife and their mother. Keep praying for us. keep lifting us up as we walk through this journey. It's still a journey for us, and we still need your prayers and support. And we thank you for all your words that you have expressed to us, and the deeds that you have shown toward us. Remarkable how you have supported us. And I can say this on behalf of me and my children. We truly appreciate it. And keep praying for us. We love you. And hopefully this has been a blessed moment that you had with us to enjoy this time as we were giving tribute to my wife and their mother. God bless you. And God keep you is our prayer.